I hope you guys are having an amazing second day at your SAS Innovate so far. We've got some amazing presentations for you out here in Theater 2. Once again, my name is Peyton. I'm going to be your guide and room captain throughout this event. But today we have Steve Hill, and we're going to be talking about SAS 360 and simplifying that customer journey. So without further ado, Steve, take it away.
All right, thank you, Peyton. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Yep, all right, thank you. Welcome. I hope you're here for the Customer Intelligence 360 Journeys demo. If not, I'm really sorry to disappoint you. But either way, I'm glad you're here, and I hope you find this really interesting. As Peyton said, my name is Steve Hill, and I have the privilege of leading our CI engineering team here at SAS. Now, I'm also going to assume that if this demo was on your agenda, you know a little bit about CI 360 already. But in case you don't, the really short version is that, really short version, I should say, is that it's our software as a service based customer engagement platform. Don't worry, we'll go into a little bit more of what that means as we go through this. We started teasing the idea of journeys here at Innovate last year. But we were able to show some mocked up screens and some ideas with many of you. And I am very excited to announce that as of this morning, Journeys is now generally available. So it's been a long journey, and we're very excited about that. Let's start by talking a little bit about where Journeys fits in the overall system. Now, CI 360 has always had a wide variety of ways to find the right customers to target. And that now all funnels through audiences. So whether you are getting data straight from your cloud database, querying your local database with our direct agent, or just uploading lists with our API, all of that is made available then for activation using any of the destinations you see on the right. That could be our native digital channels, our social advertising capabilities, or using our connector framework to send data to any of your existing providers. Journeys connects those two concepts and allows you to orchestrate a multi-part, omni-channel communication strategy where you can view, manage, and report on the entire set of touch points. And as we finish development on our upcoming decisioning and analytics modules, you'll begin to see where we integrate Journeys with those capabilities as well. If you're curious about those and want to learn some more, there's a decisioning demo by Tarun coming up in this very room next. So you don't even have to find another seat, maybe run out for dessert real quick. And there's a super demo tomorrow on marketing analytics. And of course, you can always come by and talk to us at the Customer Intelligence booth anytime. So the idea of Journeys is not necessarily new to CI 360. We've actually had the activities capability for many years in the software. But activities are designed for individual customer use cases. And while we've seen many examples of customers having successful examples of those, we've seen just as many creative attempts to use this as a batch solution as well. So between that evidence and our history with marketing automation, we knew that there was a need for a way to coordinate multiple personalized communications. And so we built scheduled journeys, and that's what we're going to be diving into today. But while we were at it, and because even our documentation referred to activities as journeys all this time, we went ahead and renamed that to real-time journeys to be consistent. Now, we're not going to focus very much on real-time journeys today, but I'll just give you a little bit of background. As I mentioned, these were designed for individual use cases where when we detect an event with our JavaScript tag on the website or the mobile SDK, or if your systems are just sending us an API call telling us something happened, we can react in real time and trigger a follow-up action. So for example, if you have a customer who purchases a product, you can immediately remove that one person from your retargeting campaigns on Facebook or Google. or if an anonymous visitor puts an item in their cart, you can change some of the content on the home page right then and there. But those always start with events. By contrast, scheduled journeys always start with the audience in mind. And so because that audience includes not just the ID of the customer, but also all of the data elements you need to navigate the journey, personalize, and deliver the communication, you have everything you need to send those multi-part journeys to any number of channels, all orchestrated through our scheduled journeys capability. So we're going to jump into a demo of that now. I'll give you a little background. We are pretending to be our new company, the Great Outdoor Gear Organization, or GOGO, because that's just fun. And so we're going to be talking about our loyalty program. Now, one of the things that also went live today, along with Journeys, is an update to our left nav. So if you're a current CI360 user, you may have already noticed this looks a little bit different. We've reorganized things just a little bit. We've got collapsible sections now, so you can go in and see the additional things that are available. And my favorite capability is you can actually mark favorites in this left nav. And so with those favorites, they all stay up here at the top. And for any of our sections, when it's collapsed and out of the way, so you have a little more room to work, we have these new flyouts where you can click on the thing you want. So a nice little addition. But let's jump into our scheduled journeys. And the journey we're going to build for today is actually our May loyalty drive. So I'm going to go ahead and name that just so I can get that out of the way. So this is our loyalty drive for May. And then before we start building the journey, we're going to spend a little time setting up sort of the business case and parameters for this journey. Now, as I mentioned, the purpose of this journey is loyalty. So we provide a handful of these out of the box, and it allows you to do some reporting on like-minded things or eventually some filtering and other capabilities. And then we're going to set a target goal for this journey. And when it comes to the goal, we can do that based on an ascribed value per conversion, a revenue number if we're getting data in with our events about how much a sale was worth, for example, trying to reach a certain conversion rate, or in this case, a specific volume of conversions. So we're going to aim for 2,000 new loyalty members in the month of May. The next thing we have to decide is what constitutes success. So for us, success is going to be a specific event. And specifically, it's our business process that's tracked on the web for completing the confirmed membership sign-up process. And specifically, the final step to confirm sign-up. So when a customer goes all the way through and signs up for our loyalty program, they will then be considered a conversion, and we're going to go ahead and remove them from the journey once that happens so they don't get any other follow-up nudges or reminders. Now there's some other conditions that we're going to define as well, starting with entry limits. And so the first one is about how many times a customer can enter this journey. In our case, we're going to limit that to only once, because this is our drive for the month of May, so it makes sense they'd only come in here one time. We're also going to exclude anyone who is already part of an active journey. So if we're trying to accomplish some other goal with them, now is not the right time. We'll get them in next month's loyalty drive. And of course, what marketing would be complete without the ability to measure it? So we have holdout control groups, which you can define either by selecting an existing audience of people you're going to hold out, maybe for a lateral experience, or just a simple percentage. We'll use a 5% holdout for today. And then drop conditions. So drop conditions let us immediately remove somebody from this journey if another event or behavior occurs. In this case, we're going to drop people immediately if they opt out of email. And the exit delay, then I'm going to leave that at the default, but that lets you define how long to keep tracking those events before they might count as conversions for the sake of the journey. Okay, so we've got our journey sort of set up. Let's now build the actual process. Now, journeys start with an audience. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick, our data team has provided me with a database or an audience of 40,000 promising candidates for our loyalty program. So I'm going to pick that. Now, I probably need to know what this audience contains because I'm going to need to use some of this data in my journey. So let's double click on that and open it up. I'm not too worried right now about the criteria, how they built this, that was their job, but I do have a lot of interest in the attributes. So this tells me what data items are available to navigate people through parts of the journey and to personalize their message. So you'll see things like their email and mobile number, their first name, and some revenue data. Let's say, for example, I know that one of the things that we're going to be doing is sending out different language emails, right? So I might come over here and take my language attribute and add it to the list of data items that are going to be available for use in this journey. So now I have my audience. The first thing I'm going to do is split that audience up. So I'm going to add my split node here. My first group is going to be my high value customers. And for that, I'm going to define this based off of an attribute in my audience data. And I'm going to make that based on having, in the last 3 months, spent at least $1,000. Now, I can continue adding as many different splits and groups here as I wanted to, but for simplicity, we're just going to stick with that, and then everybody else. So our high-value customers and everyone else. Now, I want to have our high-value customers receive a little personal touch. So instead of just sending them an email, I'm going to have a call center make a call and reach out to them. And I'm going to do that using a connector that we've created with a custom task for sending loyalty leads to our CRM system. And then the rest of our candidates are going to receive an email. And at this point, it's going to be our first try, our first step in the invitation process. Now let's take a quick look at those tasks so we can see what we're going to need in terms of personalization. Now, for our email, you'll see right away, there's a merge tag here for journey.firstname with a default value of outdoor enthusiast. So we know we're going to need first name. Quick little bit of audience participation, since the point of this invitation, you get a welcome gift. You get a bobblehead doll. How many people want the bear? Yeah. The bee on the beach ball? Okay, that's definitely the most popular. We'll fulfill that in the next part of the demo. And then if we look at the call center task, which is more of a behind the scenes thing to exchange data, you'll see here we need the first name and the phone number. Now let's take a look quickly at how that was set up. When selecting a merge tag for a task that is powered by a journey, you have the option to pick from any of our built-in placeholders, or you can go and create your own, just with whatever name you need. And in both cases, you can optionally provide a default value. So this is just a quick and easy way to kind of have a consistent experience across all your task designers to use these placeholder tags. And we'll see a little bit how we fulfill that in the journey in a minute. But let's finish building out the entire process before we go there. So for our call center recipients, when they receive that phone call, they're either going to hopefully answer the phone and sign up, trigger that success event, which will mean they drop out of the journey because they've done what we need this journey to do. Those who didn't sign up, we're going to give them 1 day to think about that. And then at, say, 9 a.m. the day after, we're going to follow up and send them that same invitation email. So there's our first step invite. And for our original email recipients, how we're going to behave next depends on how they reacted to that email. And so again, we're going to split that up. And now let's go in and look at our options for them. We can decide how to split that up based on any event we have in the system, or an audience attribute, as you've just seen for our first split. But in this case, I'm going to use the touch point behavior of a previous touch point in the journey, and I'm going to pick the email click on that first invite. So if they clicked on a link in that original invite, then they're going to go down this path. These are our clickers, and then everybody else. Those who clicked will receive a second email that is going to try to entice them to finish that process, right? Oh, and I have to have a wait node in between these touch points. So I'm going to drag that in here, and I'll give this group of people 2 days, hoping that they'll come around and sign up on their own. Okay, now let's take a look at how we fulfill that personalization. We've built out our journey. This screen gives you an aggregate view of all of the different merge tags and placeholders that are in all of the touch points in this journey. And you'll notice that the email one, we had a step 1 and a step 2. You can't quite see that here on this resolution, but we had actually 3 emails, but it knows that that's the same one, so it's only going to show up once here. And you'll see that 3 of them use first name and 1 of them has phone number. So when I go in to pick the source of the data to populate those merge tags, I can either enter some static text, I can grab a piece of data off of an event that has come into the system, or I can use an audience attribute. And that's what we're going to do today. And as we saw when we looked in this audience, I'm going to pick first name, and I'm going to apply that to all of those first name placeholders. So that filled all of that out for me in 1 click. And then I'm also going to go in here and I'm going to pick the mobile number for that phone field. Okay, so that's it for personalization. I will set up my schedule for this recurring journey. And I'm going to have that run every Thursday at, say, 3 p.m. for the rest of this month. And then that audience, we don't want to just keep picking the same people over and over again because they can only enter the journey once, right? So I need to make sure I have an updated audience when this journey executes. Now, I don't need to do it every time because this might be done for me by the data team. I'm going to pick update this only if it has not been updated within the last 1 day. So if it's getting stale, I'll refresh it and then I'll run this, right? And if it's already been taken care of, then so much the better. All right, I've now defined my entire journey. I can go up here and review this and see how it looks. Oh, and it's going to tell me I've made a little mistake. It seems that every path has to have an end node at the end, but it is kindly offering to fill that out for me. So I'm going to let it do that. I will save my changes, and then it's going to go check all the details, and it's going to say, yep, this journey is passed. It looks good. You're ready to go. Now, unfortunately, we don't have 2 days to run this demo in this session, so you're going to have to trust me that This executes successfully. We delivered a bunch of emails, we made some phone calls, and a bunch of people signed up for our loyalty program. Okay, so all a success. But that then takes us to the onboarding journey that all these new loyalty members need to be part of so that we can welcome them to the program. Now this is an active journey, so it takes you straight to the insights. I'll come back and talk about those in just a second. I'll give you just a little bit of context into this journey. So our new loyalty members are first shipped their bobblehead. So we have a custom task that is connected to our CRM system, and it sends that bobblehead, and then on the first weekday following that, we're going to send them an email welcoming them, trying to get them to use the app. And in this case, our journey, our onboarding journey, has a goal of reaching a value of $2,000. And we've ascribed a specific value per conversion, and that success event is logging into the mobile app. So we've got this whole journey back over here to work them towards getting logged into the mobile app. Now the insights will tell us about this journey that runs every week. So you can see down here at the bottom all the occurrences, everybody who entered it, how many dropped from it, how many successfully completed it, and then what our conversion rate was on a weekly basis. And you can see the aggregate data for all of those up here at the top, and a few more details over on the right, including our tracking towards our goal. Now, we have the entire rest of the year according to the name of this journey, and we're already at 61%, so we're doing pretty well, right? I can go in and modify some of those values while it's running and let that keep going for a higher target, for example, but that's what you get with journeys. All right. I have shown you now what we've just released as of this morning, but I want to talk for just a minute about what's coming next. Now, for starters, we're really excited to get your feedback. And I have a strong suspicion that that's going to impact some of the things we do next, the priority of things in our backlog. But for now, the major items we have scheduled for the rest of this year, A/B path testing for our journeys, the addition of the remaining bulk tasks, our Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Snap social advertising tasks, our mobile push capability, and our new native SMS task that's coming out later this year. We're also going to be adding a lot more insights and reporting. If you were in the CI Connect session yesterday, Rob showed off what some of those screens we're working on are going to look like. And then finally, we're going to be adding support for a Journeys agent inside our upcoming CI 360 Copilot so that you can make creating those complex journeys with even less manual effort. So that's it for me. Thank you very much. I think we might have a couple minutes for questions. Peyton's got a microphone in hand. I will do my best. If not, I will be happy to tackle some of those over at the booth.
Yeah, just raise your hand and we'll bring the microphone over. Let us know if you have any questions. All right, well, if that's everything, thank you so much, Steve. Let's all give it up for Steve. Amazing presentation. We'll be coming in about, I believe, 10:45 is going to be our next session, or it might be 10:50. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you in the meantime. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate you stopping by.